Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Make sure to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content. So today we're looking at some cards that were introduced within antinomic theory. This was the latest main box pack that came out of Duel Links. So the first of the ultra rares is TechGenus Halberd Cannon. It's an Earth attribute machine type synchro monster, level 12 with 4000 attack and 4000 defense. It requires a tuner synchro monster and 2 or more non-tuner synchro monsters. It must be synchro summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Once per turn and during either player's turn, when a monster would be summoned, you can negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. This card must be face up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one TechGenus monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. First thing is, this card is incredibly powerful, but with this level of strength, it's got major downsides to it as well. The massive number of resources necessary to bring it out. You need a tuner synchro and then 2 non-tuner synchro monsters. I know they have tuner synchros in their level 5 monsters, which make it a bit easier to go into, but you do have to go through a few stepping stones before you're able to effectively do this. The other condition is it's really only suitable for a TechGenus kind of deck because of its secondary ability, the ability to revive a TechGenus card. Whilst the first ability can be splashed into any deck, and I'd argue to an extent if you're a knowledgeable player, that's fine. But if you're a novice or just not advanced enough to know all the basic strategies of certain decks and how they work, you might end up negating the summon of a monster that really isn't going to make that big of a difference. If you did that, then they can just continue on with their turn. Remember, it negates one summon. It can be any summon, so that's a great thing about it. It can negate a normal summon or a special summon, but the thing is, you can only do it once that turn, and that's where you need to kind of pick and choose. Although it is during either player's turn, so you can actually respond if your opponent is summoning something on their turn as well. That's the major upside to it. Of course, the attack and defense stat on it has to be at this level because it's a level 12. You don't really see that many strong monsters with, barely any attack, especially with such levels of resource investment into it. The Hardwood Shark is a water attribute sea serpent Xyz monster. It's a rank 4 with 2600 attack and 2100 defense. 2 level 4 water monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, special summon 1 rank 3 or lower water Xyz monster from your extra deck. This card cannot attack for the rest of this turn. This card pairs well with Totally Awesome, but those 2 cards have always worked well together and can be splashed into a multitude of decks. My concern is there aren't really anything at the moment that you want to really target with this. I know you've got Aero Shark, you've got Black Ray Lance. No, you don't have Black Ray Lance because that's a dark attribute. You've got a couple of cards, you've got Leviathan Dragon, for example. But until the pool of Xyz monsters actually increases, that's when you'll see the potential of this card. At the moment, it's very stagnant, just having to wait through the Xyz era as they start supporting some of the new number cards, some of the more formidable cards, but again, we've only had the release of Zeal for a few months, and they're not going to be doing anything dramatic, at least for the next couple of months, to my estimate. Of the Feral Imps is a dark attribute reptile type Xyz monster. It's a rank 4 with 2300 attack and 2000 defense. It requires 2 level 4 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, add 1 reptile type monster from your deck to your hands. Okay, so the classic combination for this card is Kage to Kage. It's being a reptile monster means it can be easily searched from this card, and then you can then go into an additional rank 4 Xyz monster during your next turn. It's just to more consistency within Yuma's deck, and it was typical to be used alongside Utopia. It's again one of those cards which is classified as like the rank 4 toolbox. Genus Screw Serpent is a water attribute sea serpent type tuner monster. It's a level 4 with 1300 attack and 500 defense. The effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower TechGenus monster in your graveyard, except itself. Special summon that monster, but its effects are negated. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 TechGenus monster you control, increase or reduce its level by 1 until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of TechGenus Serpent once per turn. This card is brilliant and was one of the newer support that the TechGenus monsters had. It had the ability to special summon something from the graveyard, so you can actually go instantly into a level 5 synchro monster or one of the other synchro monsters that you prefer. The ability to also manipulate levels by banishing it helps you to go into some of the stronger ones, such as Buster Blader, which is the level 10, or Hardwood Cannon, which we just covered, which is the level 12. TechGenus Drillfish is a water attribute fish type level 1 with 100 attack and 800 defense. The effect: this card can attack directly. You can only use each of the following effects of TechGenus Drillfish once per turn. If all monsters you control are TechGenus monsters minimum 1, you can special summon this card from your hand. When a TechGenus monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So what this card does is it essentially allows for a pylon for an effect. The first thing is it can special summon itself. That's brilliant, because that means you're not wasting your normal summon. So long as you've got a TechGenus out, you're fine. You meet the condition. The other thing is it's when a TechGenus monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent. So it doesn't matter if it's direct damage or if it's done through an opponent's monster. The last thing is this card has the ability to attack directly. Yes, it's only 100 points of damage you do, but you trigger the secondary part of this effect by attacking directly. That means if your opponent only has one strong monster on the field, and you don't have any means of getting rid of that monster normally, by getting rid and special summoning this, you can actually direct attack, destroy that opponent's monster, and then proceed to attack with your other monsters. Snowdrop the Rika Fairy is a water attribute plant type level 8 with 1200 attack and 2600 defense. You contribute one plant monster to special summon from both this card and one plant monster from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon for the rest of this turn except plant type monsters. You can target one plant monster you control. All plant monsters you currently control become that monster's level until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Snowdrop the Rika Fairy once per turn. What's brilliant about this card is you're absolutely instantly able to make gains from this effect so quickly. For starters, it just requires tributing a plant type monster. All of the Rika monsters meet this condition. You can splash them within various other engines and meet those conditions through alternative methods if you choose to do so. In doing that, you can actually special summon another plant monster and then just copy the level, so you can go into an Xyz play of one of their own monsters, or perhaps something else if you want to. But the one concern is, at the moment, it does limit you to only special summoning for the rest of the turn plant monsters, so you are limited to some extent unless you can wait the following turn to remove that condition. Lantern Shark is a water attribute fish type level 4 with 1500 attack and 900 defense. The effect: if this card is normal or special summoned, you can activate this effect. Special summon at one level 3, 4 or 5 water monster from your hand in defense position, except Lantern Shark. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except Xyz monsters. You can only use this effect of Lantern Shark once per turn. If this card is used for the Xyz summon of a water monster, it can be treated as a level 3 or a 5 monster as well. This is one of the later support that Shark got within the anime. It was never actually featured, it just happened to be in one of the booster packs. It's really good for what's needed. If you know anything of Shark's deck and how it operates, it works on rank 3, 4 and 5s anyway. His strongest monster was his Abyss Splash, which is arguably a rank 5 monster. And you also had his rank 4 as well, his Barrier Number. So those were kind of the key cards. Being flexible over the level means you can easily meet the conditions. Typically, Abyss Splash prior to something like this coming out was a bit of a pain to bring out, despite the brilliant effect of being able to double its attack points. But now it's so much easier, and when we get that card out, this will essentially become that much better. Witch of the Black Forest is a dark attribute spellcaster type level 4 with 1100 attack and 1200 defense. The effect: if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add one monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand, but you cannot activate cards or the effects of cards with that name for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Witch of the Black Forest once per turn. Right, this is one of 2 cards that for a long time was banned before it got an errata. It has the ability to search for quite powerful monsters. There are some who have quite high attack stat and very low defense, at least low enough to meet this monster's condition. Example includes something like Jinzo. You know, you've got Dark Arm Dragon as another example. Certain cards that have the ability to kind of misdirect you, you know, is the reverse of Sangan, whereas that focuses on, you know, you can't have highly offensive monsters. This is, you can't have highly defensive monsters. We'll have to wait and see how good it is for the time being, because you can't actually use the effects of the cards that you've searched for the rest of the turn, which significantly neutralizes how effective this card is now. And the last ultra rare is Mystical Space Typhoon. This is a quick play spell card with the effect target one spell or trap card on the field and destroy that target. Whilst I love the design of this card and it's a very classic card, yes, it does have its uses, but I actually prefer, I think it's Cosmic Cyclone. That has the ability to banish cards, even though it's a cost of 1,000 life points. But it's also I don't know whether it's a normal or a quick play, but I think it's a quick play, so it meets the condition of this card, bar, you know, it's got an additional cost to it. There are cards that you can send to the graveyard that might have effects that trigger from being destroyed by card effects. So this card is no longer as reliable or as consistent as it used to be.